heard. But at the present time, it is a complete polarized society in which people on the far right, on people on the far left, and they perceive each other as an enemy. And that's not what the country used to be 40, 50 years ago. I remember stories of how Republicans and Democrats used to drive each other at the Capitol home after the end of the day, and they communicated and talked with each other and compromised. Nowadays, they curse each other, and they do a lot of un-American behavior, or inhuman, I should say. And they have failed us miserably. That's why probably one of the reasons that Trump was elected. They wanted to bring somebody who is non-politicians, quote unquote. There are a lot of people that are involved in doing what they're doing, and I think it is both the far right wing of the Republican Party, as well as the failure of the Democrats to produce a good candidate and protect the underdog and the poor, and do things that would help the masses to vote for them or consider them as the alternative. So let's see what's going to happen in the next 4 years. Hopefully the damage is not too far gone that would become too hard to come back. I have a lot of hope in the American people and their smartness. I think we make a lot of mistakes, but we come back to correct them, hopefully quickly, without a lot of damage to our nation. If you go back a little bit, 100 years ago or more, you will realize that the Arab world was a part of the Ottoman Empire, and in the early 1900s, after World War I or during World War I, the British and French, who happened to be the superpowers of the time, promised Arabs to, if they side with them during the war against the Ottoman Empire, then they will grant them, as if they owned that, they grant them their freedom. But the Prime Minister of France and Britain were conspiring underneath the table by creating what got to be known as Sykes-Picot Agreement, where they divided the land between them and mandated it from between the two wars, War I and World War II. So during that, when they divided the countries into Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and Palestine and Jordan, and then Egypt was also occupied by the British, and they also occupied Jordan and Iraq. France occupied Syria and Lebanon, and as an occupier and an outsider, they encouraged those divisions within the nation. So they encouraged Christians against Muslims, they encouraged the Druze against the Sunni, they encouraged the Kurds against Arabs, and they created drew these lines that as usually or technically had kept the people mixed up. So also when they left after World War II, they made sure that they installed puppets who supported their agenda. And needless to say, all these royal families, including particularly in Jordan, or even when those republics who were created had a coup against the ruler leaders, like in Egypt, had created another way of dictatorship, in which the power became with the military. And I don't think the background of not having an established structure of how to build a nation and protect democracy.
These people, they were existing for hundreds of years before.
And they were fine. Yeah, they were fine.
So why all of a sudden nobody can?
Well, I think, as I said, I think it's a combination of the people from within who took over, and their interest was more important than the interest of their people, and the outside influences that they wanted to make sure that the Arab and the Muslim world is divided, because they can present a challenge to them if they are strong in one nation. I mean, divide and conquer. Everybody knows that. I've heard the stories by a lot of commentators here in the United States that, you know, when this happened in Syria, for example, the guy said that just let them kill each other. Literally, he said, let them kill each other. Not if you were on the ground and you were an activist, or you wanted freedom and justice and democracy. Gaddafi put you in jail and killed your mom and dad and made your life miserable. So if you call that great, great for whom? Is it great for the United States of America, or is it for Russia, or for the West, or for the East? You know.
They were saying about the free health care, the free college, free housing, is that stuff?
Well, how about freedom to speak your mind? How about freedom to elect your official? How about the freedom of speech and press? Nobody had that right. The guy had his family in control, and he was a lunatic. He was literally lunatic. The way he talked, the way he behaved, reminds me of another president.
Gaddafi.
Gaddafi reminds me of another president.
Usually people,
you know who that is? Would that be?
Huh?
Guess who?
Bush.
Well, that's one option. Yeah, you got it right.